fractions, decimals, and percents. I'm not going to lie to you, this lesson seemed a little bit random to me in the way they grouped it, and so our application in class is going to require a little bit more time than normal because they really went in a lot of different directions. Here's the background knowledge you need to know. Fractions, decimals, and percents are three ways to name a part of a whole. So whether you say 1/2 as a fraction, 0.5 as a decimal, or 50%, it all represents this right here, this shaded portion of the whole. Okay? So they all have numerators and denominators. The denominators sometimes can be kind of hidden and hard to find. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So here, if it's written as a fraction, okay, the numerator is on top and the denominator is the number on the bottom. And it can be any number besides 0, and it always goes on the bottom of the fraction. So in this example, your denominator is a 2. Okay? Now, if it's written as a decimal, this is a little bit trickier. A decimal, in a decimal number, the denominator is a number from the sequence 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, ... It is shown by digits to the right of the decimal point, aka it's going to be a multiple of 10. Okay, so if it's in this spot, if this is the last number, then the denominator is 10. This would be 5/10. And then I would simplify it. And when I simplified it down, they both would divide by 5 and I'd get 1/2. If I did 0.75, okay, then in this case, the denominator would be 100 because the last number is in the hundreds spot. So this would be 75 over 100. Okay, if it was this number, then what do you think the denominator would be? Good, 1,000, because it's in the thousands spot. Tens, hundreds, thousands. Well, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay, so written as a fraction we know, written as a decimal we know. What about if it's written as a percent? Well, this is the easiest one to figure out because the denominator is always 100. If there is a percent sign right here, this sign actually means, remember what this line is? This line is per, like miles per hour, miles per hour. This line means per. So this is actually a per, and then you have these two symbols which are per 100. So if it is a percent, it is 50 per 100 or 50 over 100. All right? So that means that if this number was 5%, it's going to be written as 5 over 100. Not over 10. It doesn't matter if there's only one number here. It always goes over 100 if it was written with a percent. So to write a decimal or a percent as a fraction, we must express the denominator. So 0.5 equals 5/10 and 50% equals 50 100ths. Okay? We can write a percent as a fraction by replacing the percent with a denominator of 100. So here's an example. I kept these really, really short for the examples. We're just going to have to practice in class. Again, there was too much variety to really cover them all in one type of lesson. So make each percent a fraction, and then I also threw in there a decimal. So let's do the first one together. Make 76% a fraction. Do you remember how to go from a percent to a fraction? Good, I just give it a denominator of 100. Okay, and now I wouldn't really be done here because this number is not simplified. So if I can reduce it, I'm going to. And I know it's even, so both of these would divide by at least 2. Let's do that. So 100 divided by 2 is 50. 76 divided by 2 is 38. Those would divide by 2 again. So I would get 25 over 19. All right, and if I were to write this as a decimal from a percent, I'm just going to go over 2 places. And so as a decimal, this would be 0.76. All right, so for B, 25 as a decimal, 0.25. As a fraction, 25 over 100, and then it reduces to 1/4. Go ahead and try C and D on